This is the Focus Shift podcast, your best listening experience for creating your best online business. We'll focus on topics that help you get discovered. So sit back, listen, take notes if you like, and get excited about growing your business.
Welcome to today's deep dive. We are so glad you are joining us.
Absolutely. Great to be here.
Because today, we are looking at the mechanics of the photography industry.
Right. Specifically, how creators are breaking out of that exhausting service-based hustle.
Exactly. By rethinking the value of the work they have already completed. We are diving into excerpts from the article Beyond the Lens, Monetizing Photography Through Ecommerce.
And our core mission here is uncovering how to transform a super fragile service-based hustle into a scalable, sustainable business.
We are talking about the magic of repackaging what you already have.
Which, by the way, even if you aren't a photographer, this concept of turning past labor into future passive income, it's a massive aha moment for anyone interested in business.
Oh, completely, because the traditional model, it's incredibly seductive at first.
It really is.
I mean, for most photographers, the cycle is pretty straightforward. You book a session, you physically go shoot the job.
It's like an hour's editing.
Right, you deliver the gallery and you get paid. It feels like a massive victory.
It creates a very direct line between your effort and your reward.
And it works perfectly, right up until it absolutely doesn't.
Because that direct line is precisely the problem.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because on the surface, getting paid for your art and your time seems like the ultimate goal.
Sure, you're doing what you love and making a living. But looking closely at the mechanics of this traditional model, the reality is that it's inherently fragile.
And why is it so fragile?
It's fragile because of a concept we can call the ceiling.
The ceiling?
Yeah. When your income depends entirely on you physically standing behind a camera, your own schedule and your energy become hard limits.
Right.
Your geographic availability, your physical stamina, these are highly finite resources.
You can't manufacture more hours in a day.
And you definitely can't be in two places at once.
I mean, the physical constraints are severe when you actually sit down and do the math. Think about a wedding photographer.
Oh, the limits there are huge.
Their prime money-making time is strictly limited to weekends. There are only 52 weekends in a year. Factoring in travel, the physical toll of carrying heavy gear for 12 hours, and that massive editing backlog, a single human might only be able to shoot 25 or 30 weddings a year before their quality of life just plummets.
Exactly. And once those dates are booked, the income potential for the entire year is permanently capped.
You can't clone yourself to shoot a wedding in New York and another in California on the exact same Saturday afternoon.
No, you can't. And beyond the mathematical limits of the calendar, there are the external speed bumps.
Like slow seasons.
Right. A winter slump in a colder climate can mean weeks or even months of zero income if you rely exclusively on active bookings.
Which is terrifying.
Then you factor in broader economic downturns. When household budgets tighten, hiring a professional photographer for a luxury portrait session is often the very first discretionary expense to be cut.
And the human cost is perhaps the biggest point of fragility here. We're talking about severe burnout from constant shooting.
The sheer physical and mental exhaustion of always having to be on.
Managing clients, traveling, staring at editing software until 3 in the morning.
I want to pause right here and ask you, the listener, to really internalize this concept.
Yeah.
Consider how tying your revenue strictly to your personal physical labor is the exact opposite of a scalable business model.
If you stop moving, the money stops flowing.
Exactly. If you get sick, if you need to care for a family member, or if you simply want to take a 2-week vacation to recharge, your business halts.
It transforms a passion into a treadmill where you can never afford to step off.
Which brings us to the pivot.
Yes,
Blech.
the solution. Building income diversity through e-commerce.
Right.
It shifts the primary revenue driver away from that constant hustle for new bookings and towards selling products online directly from a website.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, e-commerce fundamentally changes the very nature of a photographer's work.
How so?
It severs that restrictive one-to-one relationship between time and money. When an image is placed on an e-commerce platform as a product, a photograph taken 3 years ago can be purchased 24/7.
Selling while you sleep.
Exactly. It sells at any hour from any time zone without requiring you to pack up your gear, drive to a location, or spend a single additional minute editing.
It transforms from a one-time service into an autonomous asset that sells repeatedly.
Definitely.
So if a photographer is stepping back from just shooting, what are they actually putting in this online store? The source material categorizes these offerings into three main buckets.
Right.
The first, and probably most intuitive, is physical products.
Classic, tangible offerings like fine art prints, framed wall art, and canvas or metal prints.
Which are highly sought after in modern interior design.
Absolutely. But it also expands into narrative formats. You can curate your work into high-quality photo books or self-published zines.
Or seasonal items.
Yes, premium calendars featuring landscape or travel photography are huge. They provide a highly predictable, recurring revenue stream.
Okay, so that's bucket one. Bucket two is where the margins get incredibly interesting because it requires absolutely zero shipping costs, zero physical materials, and zero inventory management.
The dream.
Right. We are talking about digital products.
Digital products are unparalleled for scalability. You are essentially monetizing your specific aesthetic and technical expertise.
Selling Lightroom presets or Photoshop actions.
A prime example. A professional spends years developing a proprietary color grading formula. By packaging that as a preset, they are selling a one-click digital filter that applies their exact adjustments to someone else's photo.
It's selling the recipe, not just the meal.
Exactly. And it includes editing tutorials, educational guides on posing, digital backgrounds, overlays.
Right, like shooting a beautiful historic library in Europe, and a composite artist buys that high-resolution file to use as a background.
Which leads directly into the third bucket, licensed images.
The business of renting out the legal rights to use your work.
It encompasses stock-style licensing, where a corporation might purchase an image for a global ad campaign.
Or editorial use for magazines and broader brand usage rights.
Companies constantly need authentic, high-quality imagery for their own marketing.
Here's where it gets really interesting. The immediate reflexive panic most service providers feel when they hear e-commerce is the assumption of a doubled workload.
Absolutely. The thought process is, I am already exhausted running my service business.
Now I have to constantly go out and shoot brand new content just to stock an online store.
It is the biggest roadblock to scalability.
But it's a false idea.
It is a massive misconception. The assumption that new products require new labor completely misses the point of the transition. The reality is most established professionals are sitting on terabytes of data.
Thousands upon thousands of perfectly edited, beautiful images just sitting dormant on external hard drives.
They're essentially vaults of unmonetized value-gathering digital dust.
So the strategy here is what the article calls repackaging.
Repackaging means taking those thousands of images you have already shot, edited, and delivered, and presenting them in a new format or context.
You do not need to schedule new photo shoots.
You simply need a new perspective on the inventory you already own.
Let's walk through how this actually works in practice, because the specific examples really bring this to life. Let's take a wedding photographer.
Okay.
If I'm a bride, I want pictures of me and my partner. I am not going to buy a print of two total strangers cutting a cake.
No, you wouldn't.
So how does a wedding photographer repackage their hard drive?
Well, it's true you can't sell a portrait of a stranger to the general public. But think about what else they capture over a 12-hour day.
Things that have nothing to do with faces.
Exactly. Gorgeous historic mansions, sweeping vineyard landscapes, stunning coastal resorts. By isolating those architectural shots, they can create venue print collections.
But is there really a market for a picture of an empty, sweeping staircase at a local estate?
Absolutely. The market isn't the couple getting married next week. The market is the historical society of that town. It's interior designers styling a boutique hotel nearby who want local artwork. It's the venue itself buying prints for their bridal suites.
It even includes couples who got married at that venue 5 years ago and want a tasteful architectural print for their hallway.
Rather than just hanging another picture of themselves.
The context changes the buyer completely, and the same logic applies to wedding details.
Exactly. Floral arrangements, table settings, bridal fashion. There is an enormous audience on Pinterest searching for bridal inspiration.
So a photographer can curate those detail shots into fine art prints for event planners.
Or use them to illustrate premium digital wedding planning guides. They already know the mechanics of a perfect timeline.
Package that operational knowledge, illustrate it with existing imagery, and sell it to future brides globally.
When we look at portrait photographers, the strategy shifts slightly.
They can offer premium holiday card designs using their artistic templates.
Or sell high-resolution desktop wallpapers, featuring beautiful nature elements they capture during outdoor sessions.
Inspirational portrait series.
And family photography wall art collections. essentially providing interior design solutions using their stylized, non-identifiable work.
And for landscape or travel photographers, this model is practically native to their workflow. The strategy is just how they structure urgency.
Right. Releasing an image as a limited edition print creates immediate exclusivity.
Grouping vast archives into cohesive travel photography collections by region.
Designing seasonal calendars, which are a massive hit every fourth quarter.
Or sequencing their life's work into beautiful coffee table books.
The overarching theme here is critical. Not a single one of these products requires the photographer to pick up their camera and execute a new shoot.
It relies entirely on a mindset shift.
Seeing your hard drive as a warehouse of raw materials ready to be manufactured into diverse products rather than just an archive of completed services.
Which brings us to a massive paradigm shift regarding who is actually buying these products.
What's fascinating here is how e-commerce shatters the geographic and financial limitations of a service business.
When your only offer is hire me to take your picture, your market is rigidly confined.
It is artificially limited exclusively to people who live within driving distance, who have an immediate need for photography, and who possess the disposable income to hire a high-end professional.
It's a tiny fraction of the population, but launching an e-commerce platform blows that market wide open.
Suddenly, the audience includes anyone who appreciates photography.
The Tokyo versus Texas example from the source really nails this.
Right. Someone living in Tokyo may deeply admire the moody style of a portrait photographer based in a small town in Texas.
That person in Tokyo will never hire the Texas photographer for a 1-hour family session. The logistics make it impossible.
But because of e-commerce, that fan in Tokyo can seamlessly purchase a fine art print for their living room.
Or a pack of digital presets to apply that style to their smartphone photos.
A digital background for a graphic design project, or an educational guide.
The transaction occurs without the photographer ever leaving Texas and without the buyer ever stepping in front of a camera.
Activating a global revenue stream that was previously completely inaccessible.
Now, recognizing this global potential often triggers a different kind of anxiety. If you are listening to this right now and feeling a wave of info overload,
Wondering how to actually do this without getting overwhelmed.
exactly. The prospect of managing a global e-commerce brand can feel paralyzing.
The instinct is to believe you must launch a sprawling online storefront with dozens of product categories overnight.
But the guidance is clear. Do not do that. It simply trades service-based burnout for e-commerce burnout.
The most successful creators start simple. The strategy is highly conservative. Start incredibly small to test the waters.
You only need one compelling offering to see what your audience actually values and will pay for.
A single, highly curated release. Like a fine art print collection featuring just 3 to 5 of your absolute strongest images.
Keep the variables low.
Exactly. Or launch a small set of digital presets. Just a handful of color grading filters.
A seasonal product is an excellent starting point, too.
Like a landscape calendar. It has a strict, culturally understood marketing window. People buy calendars in November and December.
It provides a clear deadline. Or test the waters with a single limited edition artwork release.
This raises an important question for you to consider regarding the long-term value of an archive. By starting with one small product, you are planting a single seed.
Right.
Once you understand the platform and file delivery, you add a second product a few months later.
And over time, those few small products organically grow into a meaningful, sustainable second revenue stream.
Built entirely from a library of work you already spent years perfecting.
So as we wrap up, the core message of this deep dive is clear. Your creative work shouldn't die at the exact moment the client receives the gallery.
The labor has been spent, the value has been captured.
By diversifying income streams and repackaging your work, you transition to a business that is stable, scalable, and genuinely sustainable.
And I want to leave you with a final thought to mull over. Even if you aren't a photographer, consider the hard drives of your own career.
That is a great point.
What reports, strategies, templates, or workflows have you painstakingly created for a one-off project that are currently gathering digital dust?
Yeah.
How could you systematically repackage your own past efforts into a scalable product today?
That is a phenomenal question to chew on as you look through those old project folders. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. We hope it sparks a completely new perspective on the hidden value of your past work. Keep exploring, keep questioning the default models, and we will catch you next time.
The Focus Shift podcast is presented by PhotoBiz, the best website solution for photographers. Whether you're launching your site or scaling your online business, PhotoBiz has your back. To get started for free, visit photobiz.com today.